Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, we are into the third week of August. This year is absolutely flying by, which you know what that means. It's going to be pre-emergent time soon. To take those steps to keep your lawn weed free. So we'll chat about some of that tonight. We also will chat about some of the projects that some folks have going on. We got some pictures already queued up for the show tonight. Robert Rainey's doing something new, shock horror. I don't know if you guys are ready for it, but I'll be able to show you guys some pictures to show you what he's up to. It's kind of cool. And as always, we're coming to you guys on YouTube as our primary platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. So whichever way works best for you, feel free to chime in. And as a way to support the show, I see just one just came through here from Mr. John Williams for $20. If you feel like I'm donating the show, we have a Cash App link which you can use. John just did so. So John, let me go on, before we get too far into this, let me go ahead and get you all set up here. Your name in lights for whatever that means to you. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks so much, John. And hope you are doing well. All right, let's jump into it. First up, we have Mr. Cody Adams. Cody got some new equipment. Always got to love when people get new equipment to work on their lawn. He says, bought an Allett Kensington 17H off marketplace as my first gas reel mower. Nice choice. Cuts like a dream. Gentleman who had it apparently only used it a handful of times. Well, that's cool, man. You figure they took the big depreciation hit. You probably got it at a good price, I would think. And yeah, I mean, Alletts, they cut well. As long as you take good care of it, keep it in good shape, keep it sharp, it is going to to serve you well. So congrats on that. We'll clap it up for you, give you some dap on the new equipment. So yeah, just again, keep it well adjusted, keep it sharp, and it will not fail you. All right, we got Mr. Robert Rainey saying morning. What's going on, Robert? It's been one of those days, I guess, that it's morning. Hopefully you're doing all right, sir. And then we got JP chiming in from Central Kansas. What's going on, JP? And Robert, it's only a couple minutes into the show, so I'm not going to show the folks as yet your lawn. So we can show you guys at least the basis of where the lawn was a couple of weeks ago. We can do that, I think. Let me make sure I'm going to show the right picture here. I think I am. Yes, this is the correct picture. This is the how the lawn was looking. Again, this is Bermuda grass, maintained. I think this is at 3/4 of an inch in this picture. He's using a John Deere greens mower to do it, and looking absolutely spectacular. That's how it looked a couple of weeks ago, not how it looks today. So stay tuned for a little bit later in the show. I'll show you guys what Robert's working with and the why behind it, because the thing you're going to look at, you're going to be like, that's very different. What is he going for? So we'll be able to chat about that. All right, next up we got Mr. Darren Proctor in the house. He says, good evening, everyone, from Maryland, trimming 18 slabs of ribs tonight. Already hit the like button. I appreciate that, Darren. 18 slabs of ribs. You must be cooking for a lot of people or a bunch of hungry people. That's 18 racks. I don't know. I mean, if you did 18, is it just ribs? 18 slabs of ribs. I could polish off half a rack myself when I'm pretty hungry. So I guess it depends on how big a group you guys have coming in. And if it's only ribs, if you do other stuff, I know ribs are like what you enjoy, but I'm not sure if you're doing anything else other than ribs. We need more details, man, more details. All right, next up, we got Mr. Jeff Hiroji in the house. He says, hey, Ron, hello from Katy, Texas. Hybrid Bermuda. Can you explain how to calibrate a spreader for fertilizer? I applied complete 14714 with the rates, but it seemed to use more than it should. Thanks. Yeah, so great question, Jeff. So whenever you get a bag of fertilizer, in most cases, there's a calibration for the spreaders on the bag. However, in many cases, you may find that between spreaders, there may be some differences. Between brands, there's definitely differences. But even if it says, you have a, a Scotch spreader, and you decide to, and it gives you a setting for that, or an Earthway spreader, it gives you a setting for that. That is really still guidance. You may have to adjust up. You may have to open the gates a little bit more, or you may have to close them down depending on how the product is flowing out of the spreader, and also your walking pace. There's a host of factors. Your walking pace, how your particular spreader is set up as far as how much material flows out, depending on how it is opened, and you may have to make adjustments. So as far as how you would go about doing that, so whenever you are applying granular fertilizer, typically you have a target of X number of pounds per 1,000 square feet. So in the case of the 14714, it's like 4 pounds per 1,000 square feet, right? So what you could do is you'd measure out, I say take like 6 pounds of product and put that in the spreader. Reason why you don't want to do exactly 4 pounds is because as you get towards the bottom, most spreaders tend to do not a great job like getting the dregs, a little bit of fertilizer that's in there out. So having a bit more, a couple pounds more in there is going to ensure that it's going to flow fairly evenly all the way towards at least the area that we're trying to measure, right? So if we're trying to get 4 pounds out of it, put 6 pounds in there, and then what you do is you just measure after the fact. So let's just go with this. So you have you're putting 6 pounds in. Our goal is to put 4 pounds over 1,000 square feet. So what you would do is you'd measure out on your lawn a 20 by 50 foot section, so you know what about 1,000 square feet of your lawn, what that looks like, and then you would set the spreader based on whether information you found online or what's on the bag. And you begin walking it, right? So you walk the lawn, a fairly brisk pace is what you should be doing whenever you're walking with a broadcast spreader to put fertilizer out. And then your overlaps I can only talk about what I do with the Earthway. With the Earthway, my tire marks are about 5 feet apart. So if I do a pass down, my next set of tire marks are about 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet away from that. And that tends to produce a pretty good result as far as even coverage. So as you're walking down this 20 by 50 foot section of the lawn, with the spreader, you had 6 pounds in there. The goal is to put 4 pounds out. When you get to the end, take what's left, put it in a bucket, and weigh it. And you should have about 2 pounds of product left. If you have a lot more than that, so you say you only put out 3 pounds over the 1,000 square feet, then you might open up the hopper, open up the gate just a little bit more to have more material flow out. In your case, if you had too much come out, so you were only trying to put out 4 pounds, you ended up putting 5 pounds or all 6 pounds, in that case, you're going to want to close it down a little bit. So once you go through this process, you typically only have to do it once for your spreader and for a particular prill size. Then you should be good to go. So again, to recap, weigh out a known amount, a known quantity of fertilizer. That's going to be a bit more than what you intend to put down. So again, if our goal is 4 pounds, what we're trying to put down over 1,000 square feet, you're going to weigh out like 6 pounds. Again, just to make sure we have a nice even flow all the way towards the end. And then you'll measure out a 20 by 50 foot section, so 1,000 square foot area of your lawn. Walk that area using the spreader at the setting that the bag offers or that you're finding online, and then weigh what's left. Hopefully there should be some left. Weigh what's left after you're done walking over that 20 by 50 foot section, and then adjust your spreader settings accordingly, whether up or down, until you get it to where you need to be. And once you have this figured out, you're good to go. So hope that helps, sir. That's how I would go about doing it. For the 14714 on a with an earthway spreader, I'm not sure what kind of spreader you have, a setting of like 9 to 10 on my spreader, because I use it quite a bit. A setting of like 9 to 10 works well for me. I know the bag will sometimes say, I think like 12 is what it calls for, maybe even higher. But I find that 10 is about where I run on my particular spreader, and I get great results with that. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Good question. It's useful. That's useful for any other product you're putting out. If you're putting out fungicide or pre-emergent or anything, or one thing you might find is once you have figured out a calibration for a given prill size. So I'll give you some examples here. So I got 3 different fertilizers here, and 3 different prill size. So you've got this is an SGN 210. When you get your most fertilizers that you'll buy at big box stores or even that you commonly find online will be this size prill. Your pre-emergent prill, depending on what you're using, prodiamine is around this. It can be a little bigger, a little bit smaller, but it's around this prill size. And then next down from this is humic max. So this is 150 SGN. So you can see the difference between 210 and 150, quite a bit smaller. So this would be another calibration you would do, assuming you're mixing and matching different types of fertilizer. And the one that you were talking about, the 14714, is even finer. So there you've got the 150, and this is the 150, and this is an 80. So it's like a greens grade prill. So once you go through and you do a calibration for a 210, a 150, and an 80, again, assuming you have products that are all these sizes, then that setting should be pretty good to use against different types of products. So for what I tend to find is for your fungicides and insecticides, so like Acelepryn G, Caravan G, Headway G, love the Syngenta granular products. The spreader setting that I use for humic max tends to work pretty well. So around 12-ish or so, 12, 13 works well for this. And then really the only product that is this size that I have is the 14714 or the 12024. So hope that helps. Kind of a long answer to a short question, but I wanted to give you as much info as possible just so you know the why behind it, and hopefully that helps you with getting your spreader and your applications all dialed in. All right, next up, we have John Williams. John's up saying, what's going on, grass people? Hopefully you are doing well, John. Thanks so much for, again, for the super chat, or not super chat, but for the Cash App donation. Really means a lot. And yeah, man, as far as stuff going on in the neighborhood, I got through mowing right before the live stream. I mow the front lawn, the zoysia, all the Bermuda folks, like cover your ears. I know how you guys are. And this is what it looked like. Literally, this picture is less than an hour. Oh, no, it's not true. It's about an hour old. About an hour old, right about an hour old. So that's the picture. And I did a diagonal pass, and then lengthwise, you can see the stripes in both directions. And then if you want to actually see it in motion, that's what we're working with. So right now it's getting rained on, and I'm looking right now, it's raining outside, but normally I just do lengthwise and then diagonal afterwards. Today I flipped it. I did diagonal and then lengthwise, and I'm showing just the areas that are growing through from the top dressing, still taking its sweet time as zoysia is prone to do, but overall still looking good. Lawn is only a couple of weeks out from being 5 months old, and quite happy with that. So I want to share that with you guys as far as how it's going along. All right, Next up, we have Andrew Phillips. He's talking about the Kensington. He has some feedback on it. He says, at Cody Adams, I have had my Kensington almost 4 years now and still running the same reel. Once I move, I'll be definitely upgrading, but it's a great mower for my first one. Very cool. Andrew, and that's the thing, man, with reel mowers, they tend to last a long time. As long as you don't abuse them, don't run over anything but grass, and you keep them well adjusted. I mean, you tend to not have to go through reels or just, you don't tear a lot of stuff up in them. Like, I try to think on my Greensmaster, the biggest consumable is just belts, right? There's a belt that goes on each side of it that drives the drum, and I replace those every year. But I mean, for the most part, a nice sharpen and then you're good to go. It's relatively trouble-free for the most part. Okay. All right, next up, Andrew Phillips. He's chiming in with another comment. He says, thank God it's Friday. Ron, and all from Texas, getting ready for a cut. Also, will be purchasing my pre-emergent, as looking ahead, the temps will be coming down fast. Have a good show. Yeah, man, 'tis the season, Andrew. Definitely is the season for pre-emergent. I'll be getting mine out here, not this weekend, probably more likely next weekend. The only thing that I've got for this weekend is some spoon feeding because of the way the count. I do it every 2 weeks, and that means it doesn't always necessarily fall on the middle of the month and the end of the month. But that's going to happen this weekend, and then the following weekend is going to be pre-emergent. So the first pre-emergent app of the fall. In which case, for me, I'm using Spectacle Flow, low rates, and then again in late November, early December, I'll follow up with another application of Spectacle, and that'll be it from a pre-emergent perspective on my lawn. And kind of like what I just was talking about in last Sunday's live stream. So I did a live stream last week, then also went on Sunday talking all about pre-emergent. If you are not planning to overseed your lawn, it's one of the best decisions you can make for reducing the amount of weeds you're going to be fighting during the fall and winter months, and also in the spring. So a lot of folks think about pre-emergent, just think, oh, it's just for keeping weeds out of my lawn in the fall. But your fall pre-emergent app does a lot for reducing the weed pressure you're going to be facing come February, March time frame next year. So it's a good investment to make in a weed-free lawn. So again, if you're not overseeding, it's the only real caveat I'd say. If you're not overseeding your lawn, get your pre-emergent out. All right. John Williams says, here in Savannah, Georgia, when y'all putting out your pre-emergent? Next weekend for me. John, you being in Savannah, you can follow the same schedule. You can do yours next weekend and then again in late November, early December if you want. So I like that. I like that where your mind is, that you're already looking to keep the lawn in great shape, keep it weed free. All right. Darren Proctor says, yes, grilling tomorrow, family event. I will send pictures. Nice. Sounds good, man. Sounds like a good time. Robert Rainey's up next. He says, it never fails. It always rains after my irrigation runs. Similar to after I wash a vehicle, it rains. Yeah, guys. So Robert Rainey, longtime regular on the live stream, also Golf Course Lawn Academy member. In case you're wondering, he's affectionately known as that guy who always has all the cool toys for his lawn. And that's what his lawn looked like a couple weeks ago. Again, one of the best stands of Bermuda grass that I laid eyes on, definitely in his area, definitely setting the standard there. But it doesn't look like that anymore. It now, then guys, make sure you're sitting down. If you are not in a chair, you're not like holding on to something, make sure you're ready, because it went from looking like that to looking like that. That's the same lawn, and that's a picture taken from today. So inquiring minds probably wonder what, pray tell, would have to happen to cause the lawn to go from this to this. I mean, the stripes, we still got to give you points for that. Stripe action is still looking great. But what do you guys think Robert could be up to in late August that would cause him to transform his lawn from that, which looks great, to a lawn that looks like that, which looks like arguably less great right now? What do you guys think? You guys can weigh in. I'll give you the answer in case you don't know, but you can feel free to chime in in the comments as far as what you think he might be getting ready to do based on how the lawn is looking. All right, so we'll come back to that. So Higgy Pop is up next. He says, happy Friday, let's go. Thanks so much, Higgy. Appreciate you coming in and also hitting the like button. So if you guys have not done that, be sure to do so. We got 70 people in the live stream, only 20 likes. So feel free to hit the like button. It costs you absolutely nothing. Free way to support the channel. Darren says, I will save a slab for Robert Rainey. Yeah, man. I mean, after all the work he put in here lately, he's earned it. He's absolutely earned it. Next up is John Young. So here's a question about some 4-month-old Tiff Tuff, or 4-month-old grass. He says, okay, here in Dallas Fort Worth, wanting it to rain, but the grass is holding strong. New build, only 4 months old, Tifway 419 here. Mow with a Toro Flex at 3/8, so just under a ½ inch. Okay, you're about that. You're on that life. I see you. Pre-emergent in Labor Day weekend. Nice. I like it. I like it, John. I like where you're at. So 419, nothing wrong with that. And then you are mowing it at under ½ inch. So you're definitely putting that work in and getting your pre-emergent out. It's a good thing. Glad to hear that you'll be putting that out next weekend. It's a great time to do it. And again, you can always follow up with another app in like 3 to 4 months. So December-ish is when I like to do mine. And that program has worked really well for me for just reducing the amount of weed pressure that I have in the lawn in the fall and also in the springtime. So you're on your way, man. You're mowing it. Lawn is well established, 4 months old, and you're getting you ready for your pre-emergent. So good times. Okay, Higgy pops up next. He says, I need to know how and when, what kind of pre-emergent I should use to best protect against POA. Great question, Higgy. So how to keep POA annua out of your lawn. So the best answer to the question is it depends on what kind of grass you have, because the pre-emergent that is best for POA annua for warm season grass is not the same thing for cool season grass. So we can start with warm season grass. I know that's what you have. So if your goal is to keep POA annua out of your lawn this fall and also in the early spring, look no further than Spectacle Flow. Now, this product is not inexpensive, but it is worth every penny. I've tried several different concoctions over the years, ranging from multiple apps of prodiamine mixed with other pre-emergents and herbicides, and nothing really touches Spectacle from a standpoint of keeping POA annua out of the lawn. One, because it's very effective against preventing POA annua, but also the residual on it. So it stays resident in the soil longer, so the effectiveness of it is much longer than what you get out of, say, prodiamine. So Spectacle is what I would tell you. This 18-ounce bottle treats around 3 acres. So you'll have a bottle for years and years and years. So even though it's expensive, what you pay up front, you more than make up with in, not wasting a bunch of time fighting weeds in the springtime. So Spectacle is absolutely what I would point you towards when it comes to your fall pre-emergent if you have warm season turf grass. If you have cool season lawns, so rye, fescue, Kentucky bluegrass, and you are not overseeding this fall, I have to say that, and you are not overseeding this fall, then prodiamine, like what I've got here, is one option. Resolute 65 WG. This is a 5-pound jug. This is going to be your jam, because you can use this on cool season grass. You can use it on warm season grass too, but where a Spectacle you cannot. So for this, what I would say with prodiamine to get the best result, you can do an application in a couple of weeks, but then I'd say for a cool season lawn, 4 weeks or so before you expect your first frost, get another application out of prodiamine. So be sure to look at the label, consult the label to know what is available or what the annual limit is for your particular grass type. A lot of folks that use this for cool season lawns tend to spray it at like just under 0.2 ounces per 1,000. So if you're doing that, you can do that a couple of times in the year. So if you were going to use prodiamine as your fall pre-emergent, you can do an app again Labor Day weekend, and then you could do another one, before your first frost. And that's really going to be your best bet for keeping or reducing the amount of POA annua and other weeds, your henbits, chickweed, just all the weeds that tend to really become a problem as temperatures become cooler. So that's what I would recommend. So for, again, warm season grass, Spectacle Flow. For cool season grass or warm season grass, but really I'd only really use this if you've got cool season grass, prodiamine. Spectacle Flow really is the best option for warm season lawn for keeping POA annua and just keeping other weeds out of it in the fall months. We do carry both on the Golf Course Lawn Store. So if you go to shop and then weed killer and look at, let's do pre-emergent. So filter for pre-emergent. You can find them all here. So you got Spectacle Flow, you got prodiamine in a water dispersible granule, and then you've also got prodiamine in a granule form. So if you want to just easy button, you can use Dimension as well too. Either one of these you would put out with your same broadcast spreader that you use for fertilizer, and then if you're using the liquid route, then prodiamine in a form that can be sprayed as a liquid, and Spectacle Flow in a form that is sprayed as a liquid. So I'll drop these in the chat for you, Higgy. Hopefully this helps. I like where your mind is as far as, again, getting ahead of your pre-emergent. It's not, it's again, it's one of the best decisions you can make for keeping weeds out of your lawn. And if you look at the pinned comment in the live stream, assuming you're on YouTube, it's all about that. We have a blog post that we did released last week, all about pre-emergent and the timing around it, why you want to use it, what all the benefits are of using pre-emergent, having that in your program. So feel free to check that out. And again, yeah, the too long didn't read or the too long didn't watch is spectacle flow for your fall pre-emergent if you have if you've got like a warm season turf grass, and then for cool season lawns, I'd say prodiamine is going to be a good one to go with. And I'll post this in here so that everyone else that's not on YouTube can also get at it. All right. But I'm also tagging you there, Higgy. Hope that helps, sir. And if you need anything else, definitely let me know. It's a good question. Don't neglect your pre-emergent. All right, next up is True Gator Fan. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron. More moles are back." That's, man, what is it with you and moles? I mean, your lawn, you must have that really sweet soil, man. You know, grubs and a bunch of other, I guess, bugs in there they like eating. That's terrible. I know you've been fighting it for a while. He says, "I think they're looking for their relative. I caught the traps are back out, and I also got some of those buzzing things out." Okay, so you're going after it with multiple approach, a multi-pronged approach. I got you. All right. Well, best of luck as far as getting the moles out of your lawn. You know, it kind of stinks. They do make a big mess. So so hopefully you are successful with doing that. All right. Next up, we got Helio C saying, "Good evening, Ron. Hope all is well." It is. I've sent you some pictures to your email for my lawn plugging job I just completed. I like it. Let me check it out here really quick. Helio C, I can show the folks here. So if you guys remember, Jose is the gent that he had a St. Augustine lawn, and he still has a shade issue, and he's using plugs to try and get it to grow in. So you can see here, these are rocks that he took out of the lawn, and then this is his plugging job. You can see the plugs that he's putting in, which that's location 1, and then location 2. So the thing I'm seeing, Jose, is that this area has some shade. So you may have some challenges with the lawn coming in or that grass coming in nicely there, but the other location looks like it gets plenty of sunlight. So as long as you can keep folks off of it, you shouldn't have too much trouble getting that grass to establish. It's just going to be a patience thing. And yeah, keep us posted as far as how it develops. And good job also getting the rocks out of the lawn, because, you know, having rocks, any kind of debris just beneath the soil or near the surface is really going to make it harder for the grass to pick up water, you know, because getting moisture out of a rock, not easy. So it's good that you also did that as well too while you're going out and putting out your plug. So good times, man. All that's left now is just to wait. Just water and wait. Just give it time. Okay, so next up, we got Mr. John Williams. He says, "Mr. Ron, the show is top-notch. Thanks for your help and time." You are very welcome, John. Thank you for taking the time to come and hang out, lend me your ear. It does mean a lot. And then John Williams says, "Dang, JP, that is super, super nice." Yeah. It is. And again, JP, who are you talking about? We're thinking about Robert's lawn. I don't think I have anyone here named JP. I think you meant Robert. So what he's talking about is Robert's lawn before and then Robert's lawn afterwards. Reason behind this, if you guys haven't figured out already, is Robert's planning on overseeding his Bermuda with ryegrass. So he did it a couple of years ago. I guess the family had a meeting about it. They decided, hey, do we want to dominate over the winter? Like, you know, in House Rainy, they've said, you know, we've already done a good job setting the standard for Bermuda grass during the spring and summer months. What can we do to also set the standard during the fall and winter? So I think the decision was made. There was a meeting of the minds. There's probably some voting, some exchanges that had to happen. And now we are going full send on the ryegrass overseed. So the first thing he's doing is, again, taking the Bermuda grass from that 3/4 of an inch to that, so scalped it down to about dirt, taking it down really low, and then he's going to get his ryegrass out and then just let it germinate. And in a few, I don't know, it's probably in a month or so, it should be looking pretty fire, and he'll be able to share that with you guys. So it'll be a fun project. Definitely take pictures, Robert, so we can show the folks how it comes along. You did a really nice job last time, so I'm sure you'll be even better this time around. All right. Okay, so next up, we got Mr. Archie Amos. He's up next. He says, "Evening, young man. My question is, can I mix herbicides and fungicides together for one spray? Look forward to a great program." Can you? Well, it depends. Okay, can you? Yes, but there's some caveats. If you're going to be mixing herbicides, let's say you're doing pre-emergent and fungicide, yeah, sure, all day and twice on Sunday. I mean, as long as they play nicely together, which like for example, prodiamine and spectacle mix nicely with Pillar SC. Like I've personally tested both of those combinations and it works fine. So if you're doing that, it's fine. Now, if you're talking about a post-emergent herbicide, so say Celsius or Tenacity, along with a fungicide, that I'd be less inclined to do. Main reason is this: whenever you're putting out a post-emergent herbicide like Tenacity, like Celsius, Certainty, Sedgehammer, for them to really work well, you really want to use surfactant along with them. You really want to use some kind of a spray adjuvant to help the product spread and stick to the leaf of the plant that you're targeting. So because a spreader sticker, the goal of it is to help the leaf, the plant, or the product you're spraying to stick to the leaf of the plant. And in most cases, when you're applying a fungicide, the goal is to get it into the soil. Those two don't really go well together. Now, if you decided, hey, I just don't have the time, it's my only chance to get out there and spray the lawn, and I'm going to spray fungicide and post-emergent herbicide. If you are going to do that, the only thing I would tell you is I would omit the surfactant. I would not add surfactant if you're going to be doing a post-emergent herbicide along with fungicide. The best way, though, is really to spray them separately. So the reason why I said pre-emergent and fungicide, typically not a problem, again, I've done that and it works fine, is because you're talking about two products that need to get in the soil in most cases to work. They both benefit from being sprayed with a larger droplet, which a flood jet will produce. So one of these guys here would be correct. Now, in comparison, you'll take like a post-emergent herbicide like Celsius, Certainty, Tenacity, like a three-way, Sedgehammer, like all the pretty much herbicides that are designed to be, in most cases, sprayed on the leaf of the plant, kind of like the way you put sunscreen on and allowed to dry, because that's how they're absorbed and how they move to the plant and ultimately kill it. They benefit from a finer droplet size. So you'd end up using something like this, right? So can you use this to spray fungicide? Technically, yeah, but it's not the best tool for the job, just like this isn't the best tool for the job whenever you're spraying pre-emergent. So if it were me, Archie, if you're doing pre-emergent and fungicide, sure, go ahead, have fun, knock yourself out, go with this. If we're talking about post-emergent sprays, you're trying to clean up some late season crabgrass, some sedge in your lawn, in which case you're going to be using these guys, Celsius, Certainty, Sedgehammer, post-emergents, then I would do them separately. So hope that helps, sir. Want to give you the reason, the why behind why I'd say yes or no, because the answer is yes, but it depends on what you're putting out. All right, so hope that helps. It's a great question, and keep me posted if I can help with anything else. Really do appreciate always having you in the live stream. Always great to see you here. Glad that you're doing well. All right, so next up we have Brian Howell. He says, "Good evening, Ron. I am looking to lay some Xeon zoysia in the shady areas where my Bermuda is struggling. Is this time of year okay?" It's okay, but I would have liked to have had it earlier in the season, honestly. Main reason why is that even though zoysia does well, is more shade tolerant than, say, Bermuda is, the more growing season you can give it, the better, because the idea is we're in late August, about to be September, depending on where you are in the country. Now, if you're like in South Georgia or even in my area, you're fine. You're good to go. But if you're somewhere that's kind of near the transition zone, you're a bit further north where it cools off a bit faster, I'd want to have the zoysia have enough time to root in well, so that when the consistently colder temperatures that come in, which you would have, you're in the more transition areas, it's just going to be better suited to handle that, if that makes sense. But if you're Georgia, Northeast Georgia, South Georgia, I mean, you'd be fine. Just keep in mind, though, even though zoysia is more shade tolerant than Bermuda, it still benefits from a lot of sunlight. So the more sunlight you can give it, the better it's going to do. So it's a good experiment. I mean, Bermuda's not working well. If the Bermuda is thin, then zoysia is likely to perform better there. So you didn't say it's a bare area. You just said it's struggling. It's a bit thin. So I'd be willing to take the gamble on putting some zoysia in and seeing how well it does for you. Only thing I would caution you on is that if you can see wherever you're doing this, if you can see the zoysia and you can see the Bermuda from the same vantage point, so if you're driving by, you got like a tree or something, you got zoysia underneath that, or whatever it happens to be that's causing you to put the zoysia in, keep in mind that zoysia and Bermuda look very different. Like the color is different, the weight stripes is different, the growth rate are different. And just because you're putting the zoysia in the more shaded areas does not mean it's going to stay there. Much like Bermuda, it's a creeping grass. So while it is slower going, it will eventually try and make its way into the areas that are getting more sunlight. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to be mixing the Bermuda and zoysia, and they are, one, you can visually see them from the same spot, and they're going to be touching. Just something to keep in mind that the zoysia is unlikely to stay just where you put it over time. I mean, granted, we're talking like, years. It's going to take a while to actually move because it is zoysia, but it's not going to just stay in the spot where you have it. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. Hope that helps, sir. I hope it does well for you. Take pictures. Let us know how well it works out. But it sounds like a fun project. Sounds like a fun project. Trying to hold on to the Bermuda, to the warm season grass. You're going with zoysia versus giving up entirely. I dig it. All right. So next up, who do we have? We have Mr. John Williams. He says, I'm sitting here in Savannah, Georgia, and it's raining about an hour ago. I put some fert. I'm loving life. I just got my cutting right before this rain. When should you put out prodiamine? First of all, John, yeah, you're right. You got it exactly right. You getting your mow done, getting your fert out, and then having it rain afterwards, can't really ask for any better than that. The only thing that beats watering your lawn in is getting it watered in for free. As far as your pre-emergent goes, just following the calendar that we have on the Golf Course Lawn Store, if you go to resources and then lawn care schedule, and you scroll down towards the bottom where the monthly product application calendar is, you will see that come September, which is only a week and change away, we recommend fall pre-emergent. So for fall pre-emergent, you can go with prodiamine. For cool season grass, I know you got Celebration Bermuda being in Savannah, and we'd say Spectacle Flow. So again, this is, the only reason to not use Spectacle is if your budget doesn't permit, but it is, in my opinion, the best product to use on warm season turf grass if your goal is to just not have to fight weeds during the fall, winter, and really into early next spring. So I know it seems pricey, but given the coverage, again, it's like 3 acres, you're gonna have this bottle for years, and like you can literally check like Poa annua in my lawn. That problem is pretty much solved. Like you may have 1 or 2 like breakthrough here and there, but for the most part, that's not going to be something you're going to have to contend with versus other options. But to answer your question, John, first week of September, Labor Day weekend, good time to get your pre-emergent out. All right. Next up is Alex Rustano. He says the lawn has officially become too thick, and I'm scalping where I was not before. The struggle is real. I realize it. I double pass of the verticutter tonight. Scalp and bag tomorrow. At least it's cool tomorrow. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work, man. So you're breaking it up into 2 days. So you're verticutting tonight and then scalp and bag tomorrow. Sounds like a plan. That will correct the problem, Alex. That will correct the problem. That's the only thing I would say with real mowing. But here's the thing. Rotary mower folks have the same issue too. We just kind of come across it and we see it more with real mowing because we tend to be mowing the lawn at lower heights. So because of the reduced cutting height with real mowing, if you are, diligent, you're out there mowing consistently, normally by June is when you're going to start having cutting issues if you don't do something to thin the lawn out. So whether it be a verticut, mid-season scalp, something, you're going to start having, just scalping in areas where you didn't before, mainly because the mower is not riding nice and true on the surface anymore. It's kind of floating, and every now and then it'll dip in and it'll just scalp the lawn. So the way you're correcting it is exactly how I'd go about it. So good job, man. Next up is Spencer 7IST, or 7 First. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Just got my Rolex S17 yesterday. Before we go any further, we will first clap it up. Congrats on the new equipment. He said, it's great for my postage stamp of a yard. Mow, and mow some more. Like it up, guys. Nice, that's true, man. I mean, I gotta tell you, folks will often look at a lawn and say, oh, I want to have this really big piece of property because it looks cool. And it does look cool. I mean, having a larger lawn and having it be manicured, it visually quite nice. However, nothing wrong with a smaller lawn. Postage stamp lawns definitely have their place. They're less expensive to take care of, less time to take care of. I mean, you really don't have an excuse to not have a smaller lawn, a postage stamp lawn. And by that, I say, 1,500 square feet or less, or so something that's relatively small. It's not hard to keep a lawn like that looking really good because, to get out there and mow it and edge it, you're talking what, 20 minutes, maybe if you're slow. So you can get out there a couple times a week and you can have it manicured and looking absolutely mint. Whereas once you start getting into bigger lawns, it becomes a bit of a job. So congrats on the new mower, man. Use it well. Keep us posted on how it does on your lawn. Jackie Bear's in the live stream. He said, "Hey everybody, happy stream." Thanks so much, Jackie. I really do appreciate that, sir. Thanks so much for coming by and checking in with us. And then John Williams is up next. He says, "I plan on sending in like 3 test kits at once, one for each side of my yard, the back. Do you feel this is overkill, Ron, or do you find value in taking more of an exact sample instead of the whole yard?" Yeah, so the first time I did a soil test, I did do them separately, and then once I saw that for the most part what the back lawn needs and what the front lawn needs, for the most part the same thing, I just treat them all the same. Now, if you want to do that, you absolutely can. What you'll tend to find is that they're probably going to be closer than you thought. Though I have seen cases where folks have done like a soil test for the front lawn, one for the back lawn, and they find like the back lawn, the soil pH is lowest, so it needs a lime map, and the front lawn is absolutely fine. So it's, there is something to testing different areas of the lawn, or testing different major sections of the lawn. So like a back lawn, front lawn, sure. But I don't know that I would do like, front lawn and then just like an area just to the side of the front lawn, especially if they're touching or like the same standard turf grass. I don't know that I would go that route, but front and back, sure. If anything, if you just did it once, just to be able to have the data to say how different are these two areas, and then you can make adjustments. And for the most part, then the nutrient program should be fairly similar for both front and back going forward. So hope that helps, John. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, front and back is what a lot of folks tend to do. But if you're doing front, back, and side, sounds like a plan. Let me know how the results come in and what they're all saying. All right, Jimmy Miller says, "I'm in the middle of getting a pool. Rip lawn, shock and horror to your lawn. I've seen what getting a pool installed does to a lawn, and it's not nice. Not nice. It's not a thing of beauty. Not a thing of beauty." Because the rest of the backyard is all dirt. Should I put down pre-emergent if I'm planting sod in a month or two? Yeah, you can. I mean, it's the pre-emergent really shouldn't really hurt your thing you're doing Bermuda sod. Your Bermuda sod from tacking down. And because you're gonna have a bunch of bare dirt, if you're trying to keep that away, keep weeds out of it, that's a way of going about it. Here's the thing you're gonna find, Jimmy, because you're highly likely to have to do some grading work before you put the sod in, because I can only imagine what your lawn looks like with the pool in. I would say the pre-emergence that you're putting down is primarily just to keep the weeds out of the bare dirt. As you get ready to do the sod, you're going to be likely tilling it, grading, moving a bunch of dirt around. So for the most part, you're gonna totally destroy that pre-emergent barrier to where whenever you go out and put down your sod afterwards, you're really not going to have any trouble with it establishing. So if you're going to use the pre-emergent mainly as a stopgap to keep weeds out, love it. And again, I believe you have Bermuda grass. You're probably going back to Bermuda. Again, between all the grading and other work that's going to happen between now and then, you're not going to have trouble getting the sod to establish. So great question. Keep us posted. Send pictures of the pool, I guess, when it's done. I mean, it better be a really nice pool, given that, you destroyed the lawn to do it. So that's a couple of the most common questions I commonly get from folks that will come by. They'll be like, "Hey man, you get this really big back lawn. It's really nice. You know what you need back here? Like a pool and a gazebo." So I'm thinking, I said, so shade and something that's going to be a pain to mow around. I got to edge around it, and also something I have to keep grass clippings out of. I'm going to say downvote both of those. But again, if you like pools, I get it. I mean, for entertaining, then pools are nice, and aesthetically they are quite nice to look at too. So I get it, but just not for me. I just like mowing grass. Okay, next up is Nick Wren. He says, "Happy Friday, Ron and chat. What would be the best way of lowering high spots? These are not large. They are a few inches above ground level, maybe 4x4 humps, for lack of a better word." So what you could do is this, Nick. You could, there's a couple ways you can go about it. If the humps are quite pronounced, meaning that like light top dressing around them to kind of smooth the grade going into them isn't a possibility. So let's say, for example, we'll use a soil test kit. Let's say that where it says here in the middle, my soil is where you have like the hump, right? This is like a higher area. What you could do is and this is probably easier, you could lightly top dress around that. And that, so if you're mowing, if you're scalping as you're going into it or coming off of it, that way you kind of contour it to where you can mow up and over the hump without causing cutting issues. That's one way of correcting it. Another way would be the 4x4 foot section is to get like a shovel, cut the sod in that area, fold it back, remove a little bit of material. I mean, you said only a couple of inches, so it's not going to take very much. So remove a little bit of material, put the sod back down, and then you are likely going to have to do a light top dress at some point. Maybe not this season, but maybe next year, to get that area that was a bit higher to blend in nicely with the surrounding area. So you have a couple of ways. Way one, which if you don't mind having an area a little bit higher, is to just simply kind of blend it in using top dressing around it to kind of build it up. So if you're mowing, you kind of ride the mower up and then down over it. Or thing two is to, again, sod cut, fold it out, remove material, lay it back down, and then just plan for a top dress, probably next season to get it looking really, really nice. So just depends on which way is better for you. All right. How much you hate the hump. So if that helps, Nick, great question. It's a, I don't think personally that if you were able just to kind of blend it, it might not look that bad. But I haven't seen it visually. You can send a picture of it so I can, it might be an eyesore. It might be like this really like plateau you got in the middle of your lawn, which you may not like. So, but if it's something that it's just a slight little raise, then you might blend it, versus going through all that trouble. So hope that helps, sir. Keep us posted as far as how it all works out for you. In either case, you're still going to be top dressing. Either it's going to be around the area or the entire area once you're done to smooth it out. Okay, next up is simple cash offer. It says, "Good evening. I'm in Georgia, Centennial Park." Okay, so you Atlanta, you downtown. I used the lawn gauge and it said my lawn was a 3.2 pH. Man, that's crazy acidic. I guess I still need a 1414 or 14714. Are these gauges accurate? I mean, 3.2 is incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen a soil test myself where the soil pH was that acidic. I don't know that I've ever seen one that low. I've seen in the fives. I've seen in the low. I've seen in the high fours. I've seen in the fours. That is less common, but I've seen that. I've never seen a soil test where the pH was in the threes, and you're like low, like 3.2. So I'd say this simple cash offer, if you're open to it, like pick up a soil test kit from My Soil. We carry them on the Golf Course Lawn Store. I'll send you a link. I'd like to get a second opinion on that, because you're gonna have to put down a ton. If it's truly 3.2, you can put down a whole lot of lime. I mean, a lot of lime. That's again, I personally have never seen a soil test where the measured pH was in the threes. I've seen them in the fours, but not in the threes, and even much less even the low threes. Like 3.2, that's knocking on like high twos, right? I've never seen anything quite that low. So what I would tell you, simple cash offer, is if you're open to it, grab one of these, grab a soil test kit, and run that. Within a week or so, you're going to get your results. And then if you want to send me an email, because I know we've emailed before in the past, just take a look at the results once you get them. I'm happy to do that, and we can see if we can get to the bottom of it and get a good program to get your lawn in good shape. 3.2 sounds, that's something. So it's almost like a measurement problem to me. I've looked at a lot of soil test results, and I've never seen anything in the threes, much less the low threes, like what you're talking about. Okay. All right. So next up is Robert Marks. He says, "Cool season, overseed perennial ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass." Yep. I don't know if he's doing KBG, Robert, but he is doing a no perennial ryegrass. I'm not sure if you're around, Robert, but he is. That's where he was. This is where he is now. And in years past, again, he's done a really good job with his overseed. I think it was just ryegrass. I'm not sure if he had Kentucky bluegrass in the blend as well, too. But I'm sure at some point he will chime in and let us know what he's doing. And, we'll all be here for it, man. We'll take pictures. We'll take pictures he's going to send, and he's going to have it looking really good because he's done it before. This is not his first rodeo. All right, next up is Tom V. He says, hey, all, how long should a backpack sprayer last? I got a Ryobi 4-gallon sprayer 3 years ago, and now it leaks and sprays inconsistently. Any experiences? It's hard to say, Tom. It depends on how well it's cared for. Like whenever you finish using the sprayer, do you make sure you run some water through it to where there's no chemicals, no deposits left in the pump or in the diaphragm assembly? If you're doing that, they should last a relatively long time. 3 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a Ryobi sprayer to know, but I mean, I would expect more than 3 years out of it, but it's hard to say, man. You may have gotten a bad unit. Again, it depends on how well you've been about cleaning it. That could be a thing too. I would expect more than 3 years out of our Ryobi. I mean, say for example, the sprayer I'm using, the one from Yard Mastery that I've been like, my sprayer is literally serial number 6. And it's only this season I'm starting to notice that the diaphragm at the pump, it probably needs to be rebuilt. It's starting to get a little bit tired. And that sprayer is over 4 years old. Over 4 years, I believe. I'm not sure how long they've been. I have to look and see whenever Brett brought it by for me. But it's definitely 4 years, maybe a little longer. Whenever the sprayer is released, is when I got it, like not too long afterwards. You know what? It's gonna bug me. Mine's at least 3 years. I'm thinking it's knocking on 4, but let's take a look here. It's gonna bug me to know, when did I make the video on it? Sprayer. And of course, I've got like a bajillion videos with sprayer in the title, so that's gonna be not easy to find. So exactly. So 2021. So September, almost 4 years to the day. So September 2021. And I used it for over a month before I made that video. So right. So mine is 4 years old, and only now it's starting. Again, it still works fine. It's just starting to get a little bit tired. It's not leaking and spraying consistently. Nope. So, 3 to 4 years, I guess you may have to do a rebuild. Reach out to them. Reach out to Ryobi and see what they're going to do. They may send you a rebuild kit for it. They may warranty it. I don't know, 3 years, maybe not. But it depends. I would expect a bit more than that, because again, mine is on 4 years now, and it's only now starting to show signs of being a little bit tired. And mine gets run pretty hard. It gets run, you figure, pre-emergent in the spring, pre-emergent in the fall, and every 2 weeks during the growing season, it's on the lawn. It's spraying 12,000 square feet. So that's like the 3 tankfuls every. So let's think about that. What's the math on that work out to? So 12 tankfuls per month. Assuming I'm only doing my lawn, I'm not helping anyone else out. So yeah, mine gets a pretty good workout, and only now starting to get a little bit tired. Okay. All right. Next up is Buddy Brown. He says, first-time house owner, and this is my first year of lawn care. Welcome. We have toys and cookies. He says, learning a lot from your channel. I have a sprayer and Pre-emergent 65. What should my pre-emergent schedule for this year be and for next? Okay, so I'm a fan of using a different pre-emergent in the spring and in the fall. So I will typically use prodiamine or dithiopyr in the springtime, and I will use Spectacle Flow in the fall. So as far as your schedule goes, you could technically use prodiamine for spring and fall, as long as your total inputs that you apply, the total amount of product you apply, doesn't exceed what the annual limit is for your lawn in any given 12-month period. So for warm season grass like Bermuda, it's Bermuda St. Augustine, it's like 0.83 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So for example, you could do I don't know. I mean, it's the product that work great. You could do like a light app in the spring. You could like say 0.40 ounces in the spring, and then do 0.40 ounces in the fall, and that would get you pretty much to your limit. What I like to do is apply prodiamine on the higher end of the rate card in the springtime one time, and then I can switch to Spectacle in the fall. That works well for me for keeping weeds out of my lawn. So what I would tell you is, the program you figure out, Buddy Brown, really depends on whether you're only going to use prodiamine or if you're going to rotate to a different pre-emergent for, say, your fall apps, so that allows you to use more of the annual limit earlier in the season, if that makes sense. As far as the schedule for using pre-emergent, when we recommend it in the springtime, Before the average 5-day soil temps are in the mid 50s is when you want to do your spring pre-emergent, because that is when crabgrass begins to germinate when soil temps are in the mid 50s going warmer. And then in the fall, like around now, when soil temps are in the low 70s and trending cooler, is when you want to get your fall pre-emergent out, because poa annua and other cool season weeds tend to germinate when soil temps start to get in the mid 60s. So in both cases, you want to be ahead of it. When it comes to pre-emergent, a bit early is better than a bit late. So, some people might argue, hey, early September, Labor Day weekend, you could wait another 2-3 weeks before you get your pre-emergent out. Technically, you could, but there's not really any harm in getting out a bit early. Those are the same people that will say, I'm going to wait 2 or 3 weeks, and then life happens. They're not able to get it down when they were planning to, and now we're like mid-October applying pre-emergent, and then you're not going to get as good a result. So we do have our calendar on the Golf Course Lawn Store under the month, under the lawn care schedule. So if you go to resources, lawn care schedule, and then the monthly application schedule. So we have a chart here for warm season and cool season lawns. And then for pre-emergent, you'll see that really in Feb, I say before the average 5-day soil temps gets in the mid 50s, apply your spring pre-emergent. Around here in Georgia, that's like February timeframe. And then for your fall pre-emergent, you roll down, roll down, roll down. We get down to September-ish. Again, assuming you're not overseeding your lawn for cool season folks, then that's where you would do your fall pre-emergent. All right. So hope that helps, sir. I'll send you this schedule in case you don't have it, and hopefully it's helpful for you. And again, congrats on the new house and on your first lawn. It's a lot of fun, man. Don't feel like you have to get it all figured out in one season. It's a lawn care is a process. I'd say, pick a program and use it, follow it, fairly religiously for a season. And then you can make adjustments from there based on things that you like, things that you don't like. Our program works really well. We have folks from Washington State all the way to Florida that follow it with great results. And so I know if you just look at what I just linked you, that's going to perform well for you. And I would say pick a program, whether it's ours, someone else's, whatever it is, pick that and stick with it. And then, in other words, replicate before you innovate is what I would tell you. Like someone says, follow the steps 1 through 10 in this order on this timing, and to get this result, do that. And then once you go through that, then next year you might say, yeah, you know what, maybe I can omit step 3, or I can swap something else in for step 3. You can play with it, but initially I'd say just follow what's known to work is what I would say. All right. He said, should I buy anything else besides Prodiamine 65? So other than pre-emergent for the fall, if you're going to use, I'm not sure if you're fertilizing your lawn still, but I will also do a fall fertilization app. My last fall fertilization app is in October. And what I use for that is, I'll show you really quickly. It's right here. It's on the schedule. Lo and behold, who'd have thunk it, right? In October, our 12-0-24 is what I use to shut the season down with. So I'm not sure what you're doing with your lawn now, but for the last fertilization of the season, this is the product that I use. So I start the season out with this, and I end the season with this. So, and for me, that's in October. And then outside of that, man, just keep watering it as you need to, mow it as you need to, and just, enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. So I'll link you this as well, buddy, as far as fall fertilizer. It's a good choice. All right. Where are you? There. Okay. All right. Next up, we got John Williams. He says, ha ha ha, I thought it was my screen. I was like, ooh, that second one doesn't look too good. Yeah, so some of you guys may be wondering what John's talking about if you just joined the show. So Robert Rainey, who always sets the standard for an amazing lawn. This is how his lawn was before, and this is what it looks like now. And John was laughing, saying, I thought maybe my screen was broken. So what you're looking at here is him doing the preparation work to overseed his lawn this fall. So getting the Bermuda grass out, cutting it as low as possible, because remember, for any kind of seeding project, you want to have good seed to soil contact. You want to make it as easy as possible for heat and sunlight to get to the seed to help really enhance germination rates. So a great way to do that is to remove as much of the existing grass as you can, especially since he's going from Bermuda to ryegrass, and Bermuda's not going to really be back until next year. So yeah, John, it's definitely a big contrast, right, from where he was before to where he is now. All right. Next up is Harper's Knitter. He says, hey, Ron, it's getting a little bit better on the lawn. I use the Andersons because of the tiny granules. My cats live in the lawn and those particles. If you haven't used any, buy a bag of Duocide. It's magical. Cool. So glad to hear that your lawn is doing better, Harper's Knitter. Then we got Devin in the live stream. He says, what's up, Ron? Looking forward to some great turf talk. I'm going to do my best, Devin. I'm going to do my level best to not disappoint you. Hopefully all is going well with you. Hopefully the course is still looking good. And if you guys wonder, Devin, he is the superintendent for a course out in Colorado Springs. I'm trying to find pictures of his lawn. Yeah, we do. This is his Kentucky bluegrass lawn, and this is over the summer months. This is from a couple live streams ago. So a man that obviously knows what he's doing when it comes to growing a nice stand of turf grass. And again, thanks so much for coming to hang out in the live stream, Devin. We'll have to be here to follow along with Robert's overseed. Should be a good time. All right, John is up next. He says, I'm going to hire a company to level the yard next year. Can you help me with what I should pay for something like 5,000 square foot yard, and then I'll maintain after that? What say you? Man, it depends. It depends on your area. Like around here, the first time I leveled my lawn, I had a service come do it. I want to say it was like around $3,000, just under $3,000. Like I have the invoice on my like how to get a golf course lawn blog post. So it's on there. You can actually read it, but I think it was around $3,000 to do 12,000 square feet. But because hashtag inflation, it's a lot more expensive now. Like the last time Richard and them came out, they did just the back lawn, and it was a little bit more than what I paid to do the entire lawn. So things are more expensive. So it's hard to say, John. Here's the thing you have to consider. Like, are they just top dressing, or are they going to aerate the lawn as part of the process? They should. Are they putting out any kind of fertilizer or any other amendments to the soil as part of this process? So whenever the local service comes out to come do a top dressing, they will aerate. They will put out a fertilizer that they will bring. They'll put a granular around the entire lawn, and they'll top dress it and drag it all in. So you're paying for the product and also them aerating and also the sand they supply, all of that. So it depends on all what they're doing. For 5,000 square feet, I don't know, man. Depending on the service and the quality of the material they're using, $2,000, $2,000. Somewhere around there. I mean, it's not going to be cheap for someone that's good, because they should be using quality material, like a good screened river sand, or like a blend of like a sandy loam. And if they're fertilizing it and aerating it and doing all the things, I mean, in other words, like it doesn't cost twice as much. In other words, doing a 10,000 square foot lawn to top dress doesn't cost twice as much as doing a 5,000 square foot lawn. Like there's a lot of cost that is that this is going to be there regardless of the size of the property that you're doing. So at 5,000 square feet, I wouldn't expect to pay less than $2,000 for that. I wouldn't expect that. So yeah, and that's them supplying the material. So you can shop in your area. Don't cheap out, I think, on top dressing. Like, get a good service, get someone with good reviews, because the last thing you want is, them come in there and they use like substandard material. They don't put enough material out. They put too much material out. They don't aerate as part of the process. You want someone that really treats it like the same way a professional would do it, and you're going to be happier with the results if you go that route. Okay, John. So I'd say 5,000 square feet, $2,000 in that area is what I would say. All right. Okay, next up we have Brian Howell. Because I'd recommend buying a bottle of Spectacle Flow and splitting it with a few guys in your area. That way the price isn't so hard to swallow. Yep, that's not a bad way to go, Brian. I know some folks actually do that, but again, cannot speak highly enough about Spectacle. Again, I've tried multiple different pre-emergents, different blends of pre-emergents, and they work. All pre-emergent works, but it's a question of like on the continuum of like some control to like baller control, like to practically no weeds in your lawn. Like, where on the spectrum does this really fall versus what you pay, and just the time it takes to like mix different ones and all this kind of thing. And Spectacle, for me anyway, is well worth it. It's close to like, buy this, apply this, and then this problem is pretty much solved on your lawn. So that's why I like it. Okay, next up is John Williams. He says, what are worm castings? Can you talk about how to treat, why or why not, and how to prevent if needed? Yeah, so worm castings are just from earthworms, just them burrowing. It's not a, I think of worm castings as a sign of healthy soil. Folks look at them and they say, they think they look unsightly, and they can. They don't look great in the lawn, but a lawn with worm castings is a sign of healthy soil. I don't do anything to try and get rid of earthworms in my lawn. It's like nature's natural aeration. Whenever you go out there and mow, just roll over them with the mower. Like the front roller will stamp them down pretty easily, to where it's not like you're cutting or running the reel through a bunch of dirt. And that's what I do. I don't do anything to try and get rid of it, and it's a sign of healthy soil. So if you got earthworm castings, then yeah, embrace it. You're good to go. You're good to go. I would not do anything to try and get rid of earthworms in your lawn. They are a good thing for your soil. All right, John Williams says, moles run in gangs of 3 to 5, so keep hunting. I feel your pain. But don't say that, man. I just got one. Let me see. Alex got one. I got one. And I haven't, man, knock on wood, I haven't seen anything new in his lawn or my lawn. So hopefully the two that we got are all that's around here for this season anyway, right? Okay, next up is JR1. He says, hey, Ron, quick question. What is the best ryegrass to overseed warm season lawn last year? I used one, but I got a lot of Poa annua. Was wondering if you had a link to ryegrass seed that you can recommend to me. The only one that we have is it's a blend of ryegrass and Kentucky bluegrass. So I can show you really quickly. If you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, go to shop and soil test kits and grass seed. This is the one, a grass seed that the folks at MySoil puts out. The nice thing about this is there's not any weed seeds in it. Blue tag certified. So it's a very high quality seed. So you see 80% perennial ryegrass, 20% KBG. So as far as a high quality grass seed, you can look and see some pictures of what it looks like once it's all grown in and established. I think most folks would be, what's most impressive about this picture? The best part about this picture is not so much even the color of the grass, which you're paying attention to. I look at those grass tips. You can see how clean the cut is. They're using sharp equipment. I always like to see that. All right. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, another picture of it later on in the day, dust picture. So color looks spectacular. So this would be a good option if you're looking for, a blend. This is again 80% ryegrass with some KBG thrown in there. So I can send you this if you want to look at one. Barenbrug. There's also who else has a good grass seed blend for overseeding? Barenbrug also has a good one that folks like. In years past, I've recommended that to folks, and I've had good results or good feedback from customers on using that. So I'll send this to you at JR. You can take a look at it at your convenience. But yeah, just that's a good option. And again, there's tons of other ones out there as well too. But do not go cheap on grass seed. Again, it's one of those things that you'll regret getting cheaping on a grass seed, because what you don't want is something that's going to introduce a bunch of, like what you experience, a bunch of weeds and other garbage into the lawn. And this stuff will not do that. All right, next up is John Williams. He says, I was scalping my backyard and I raised just a touch from 1.5 inches, but I had to go to a rotary mower to go to 2 inches, and my yard is loving it. Can't wait to level next year. Yeah, man. So that's the thing, John. It's one thing to want to be able to mow your lawn at 1.5 inches, but an inch or so with a rotary mower. I mean, that's an inch is really pushing it. But really, what the lawn's going to tell you what it likes based on how smooth it is. And if where you are right now, 1.5 inches to 2 inches is what your lawn will tolerate given the smoothness level, that's absolutely fine. I mean, I wouldn't really be too concerned about that. I mean, my lawn, it started out at 2 inches when it was sodded, the front lawn, and then at day 10, put the real mower on it. Began working it down. But got to keep in mind, I spent a lot of time up until when they were about to put the sod out. I was out there, with the leveling rake and grading it, making it as nice as possible. I gave them the leveling rake. They took the leveling rake and graded the entire lawn. So a lot of work was done in the preparation to get it as smooth as possible, to get it, just so. And then even with all that, I still had a top dress afterwards, because you guys have seen how the lawn grew in over the season, and you're still going to have the top dress at some point next year. So I say don't worry about it too much. You are with a rotary, so rotaries mowers do tend to be more sensitive to uneven turf as far as scalping than like a real mower, just because of the physics of the way they work. You know, you basically are cutting the lawn with a shopping cart. You got like, you know, four wheels. It's in other words, the cutting unit is suspended by a wheel on each corner. So anything any of those wheels does will tilt the entire unit and will cause scalping. So whereas a real mower, especially if you're using something that has a like a rear drum and a front roller, the weight is more distributed over a larger area, and a small dip in one spot has less effect on the movement of the mower than it does with a rotary mower. So if you're going to go to real mowing next year, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wouldn't get too, you know, too concerned or get too wrapped around the axle, because typically on the same lawn, you can mow lower with a real mower with less scalping than you can with a rotary. Just again, just due to the physics of the way the mowers work. All right. All right, Two Trilla from Manila is in the house. He says, "Hey, Ron, happy Friday, everyone. Hope you're doing well, sir. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream. You know, you can tell your family, because Two Trillas has a family member that works, I think she works at Supersod, works for Supersod. So I've been sending them updates, and I said, you can see your handiwork. This is a saw that they supplied, and it's come out absolutely well. And guys, with this, I really wanted with this project, the question I get often is, why'd you do it? Because it was there, something new to do. I mean, I've been using Bermuda for like almost 9 years now, so I wanted something new to play around with. And I also had, you know, heard a lot of old wives' tales around zoysia, that it's, you know, crazy sensitive. You know, you really can't, you know, don't really fertilize it for the first season really heavily. No herbicides on it for the season. You know, when it comes to mowing, let it root in. Don't really start mowing it, you know, too much right away. So I said, you know what? I get that it's different to Bermuda, but it's still grass. And as long as we're following the fundamental rules, we are mowing it at a height that grass type will tolerate with sharp equipment, should be okay. So again, so with my lawn, most of you guys aren't going to do what I did, which is start mowing your lawn 10 days after being sodded. And again, 10 days after being sodded on a slope, no less, right? But that 2 rounds of top dressing, 2 broadcast sprays of recognition and fusillade to get rid of the Bermuda grass, and it still looks, you know, awesome. So probably the biggest thing I would tell anybody if you're doing a renovation project is to put a mower on the grass as soon as there's something to mow. So as soon as it, you know, the sod is in, it's tacked down to where when you walk on it, it's not moving around, it's not shifting on you. As soon as there's new growth, start mowing it. Like that is one of the best things you can do to really encourage new growth and really get that lawn to establish that much faster. Like a big part of why the lawn looks the way it looks as quickly as it did is because day 10, real mower, let's go. And so I would just tell you guys that anyone that's working on a renovation project, don't do a lot of folks will do where they wait, you know, 2 months before they want to put a mower on the lawn. I personally think that's a big mistake. As soon as there's something to mow, cut it. All right, next up is Helio C. He says, when is a good time to do a fall soil test? I'm currently using the 14-7-14 fertilizer with the spoon feeding micronutrient with iron. You can do it anytime you want, really, Helio C. What I would tell you is you want there to be 3 to 4 weeks since your last granular fertilizer input between then and when you pull cores to get your soil analyzed. You wouldn't want to go out and put out that fertilizer and then like 2 days later, a week later, go out and pull cores to send that in for analysis. It would likely skew your results. So as long as, you know, a month or so has gone since your last granular input, I'd be fine with that. So whenever you want, I'd say give it some more time. Let's wait till the end of, you can do it at the end of this month if you wanted to, I guess. Typically I do mine in like late September, early October, but I mean, if you want to do it now, you could, because the thing with the info you're looking to get out of your fall soil test, for me, one of the big things is where soil pH is, because that's going to let you know whether or not a lime application will make sense for your particular lawn. So, you know, if you want to do one beginning of September or, you know, late September, early October, either one of those would be fine as far as getting the data and then giving you enough time to be able to make the inputs to start addressing pH issues. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Great question. Appreciate the question. And if you need anything else, definitely let me know. All right, Toucan Sam's up next. He says, I just got a Toro Greensmaster Flex 11 blade. Before we go on, we will clap it up and give you some dap for new equipment. Must always acknowledge that. 11 blade too. Ooh, living dangerously. I like it. And the first cut was much better than my McLean. Green's mowers are in a league of their own. Well, wait, I mean, what do you expect? I mean, it's not like Toro and John Deere just charge a bunch of money for these things just because they can. I mean, they do charge a bunch because they can. But you would think that for 3, 4, 5 times the price of lesser mowers, that it would cut better. And lo and behold, they do, right? They do. I mean, you want to see something, a thing of beauty here, like Oliver's new whip that he got here recently. I mean, look at, you take this off the screen here. Look at that. That is absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous piece of equipment. Love it. And he's already put it to work, and you can see it does the business, man. Kept sharp, well adjusted. Tough to beat that. Again, congrats on the new mower, Toucan Sam. Keep it well adjusted, keep it sharp, and run it hard. That's what they're designed for. All right, Jason Crawl says, "Hey Ron, I purchased the robotic mower. I'll keep you informed on how it goes. Probably still going to be real mowing between cuts of the robotic mower cuts." You know what? It's almost, I'd almost like to toy around with this just to see. I mean, I'm still going to real mow my lawn, but it'd be interesting to see just on the back lawn, if I allowed a robot mower out there to let it just do whatever it's going to do, I guess, mess up my stripes. And then I still real mow, how the lawn would look. I'm not really super excited about, not bagging the clippings, because when it's cutting, it's mulching everything back in. But I guess I could bag the clippings whenever I mowed it, right? So, might be something to play with for next year. Maybe as an experiment. What do you guys think? We'll put a poll. We'll ask the audience. Robot mower on back lawn next season. What do you guys think? You're gonna be like, no, how dare you, never. And some of you will be like, sure, let's check it out. See what you guys say. So we'll let that poll run for a little while and get your thoughts on it. In which case I have to start investigating robot mowers. Normally anytime I get the emails from all these different companies, they say, hey man, we'd love to send you a robot mower to try it. I'm like, no, I'm a purist. No. So we'll have to go and see what the best options are. If you guys all think that it's a good idea. 71% so far is saying no. All right, purists are speaking. All right, we'll see. We'll let it run for a little bit longer and see what everyone says. But so far, no is winning out really, really strongly here in the live stream. I don't know. I thought you guys like new stuff. I thought y'all might be interested in it, but so far it's not looking too good for the robot mower. All right, next up is John Williams. He says, "Hey Ron, I sent some pictures of Centipede and my Bermuda dominating. Did you see? You were so correct. I have no centipede intruders. Loving it." I don't know if I have any pictures from you, John. If you did, nothing tonight. So you may have to send it again, and I can get it on the live stream for next week, unless you can send it here really quickly. But yeah, I don't see anything from you tonight. So apologies for that. Okay. Actually, no, there we go. It just came in. Just beeped in. Okay, yeah. So a picture of your Bermuda, and in the background is the centipede lawn. Let's see what you're working with here. See, so here's the thing. I know you're like not super happy because you're at 1.5 to 2 inches of what you're saying. But I mean, if you look at your lawn compared to, the centipede, man, how tall are they mowing that? Good grief, man. Good Lord. If you're at 1 inch and change, I don't know where they are. So you can look there in the background. I'm guessing that's the centipede that he's talking about. That's got to be like 3 to 4 inches. That's up there. Because if you're at 1.5 to 2, that's at least 3, probably knocking on 4 inches. So yeah, that's looking good, John. See, compared to your neighbors, you're setting the standard. So it'll get even better next year once you get the chance to top dress it. Okay, Booch 1980 is up next. He says, doing an overseeding project with a company next week. I'm in Boston. They are not recommending to put any pre-emergent or getting rid of existing weeds. No sort of fertilizer. Should I be worried? No, some of the advice they're giving is good. So as far as pre-emergent, that's true. They're absolutely right on that. If you're doing pre-emergent, you don't want to do that if you're planning on putting out grass seed, because the pre-emergent is going to negatively impact the germination rate. So I absolutely agree with that. And depending on the kind of grass seed they're putting out, or if they're spraying it, or they're spraying fertilizer along with it, then perhaps they don't want you adding anything in addition to what they're already doing. Once the lawn begins, once the grass seed begins germinating and you start mowing it, 30 days or so after you're starting to mow the lawn, you can get out there and start feeding it. But perhaps they don't want you to put out any fertilizer because they're doing that as part of their process. And again, no pre-emergent, absolutely agree with that. Booch 1980. Yep, absolutely. So that is good. That is good advice. Pre-emergent, and even though like prodiamine is not, and spectacle are not necessarily labeled to prevent, perennial ryegrass from growing, the fact is they negatively impact really any or most grass seeds from germinating. So like you look at like pre-emergence for say like dandelions, right? There's not really like most pre-emergents are not really labeled to control dandelion like prodiamine. It's not on the label. However, if you use prodiamine, you're along with a bunch of other weeds, you're just not anything that's trying to grow from seed is going to have a much harder time doing so. To include the grass that you are pay a bunch of money to have someone seed for you. So I would follow what they're saying. I mean, I'm sure they do quite a bit of them, and if they have a process and they're also perhaps warrantying it, they're saying, hey, listen, if you do it our way, then we'll cover it. Then I would just follow whatever they are suggesting. But so far, sounds pretty good to me. No pre-emergent is good advice if you're planning on overseeding a lawn. All right, Toucan Sam says, also, do you recommend split applications of Spectacle Flow? I do. He says, I'm in North Texas if it matters. Yes, so what I do for Spectacle Flow is I do an application at 0.10 ounces. So I take like an old Acelyprin bottle. I've got one of these in the garage and it's got like Spectacle, like spec, got labeled all over it that it is Spectacle Flow. And I use this because it's really handy for accurately measuring small amounts of liquid. So for Spectacle, 0.10, so the first measurement, really down there, it looks really like not much, but it doesn't take a whole lot of this stuff. So 0.10 ounces of Spectacle, gallon of water, over 1,000 square feet. That is what I do for my app in September, and I do the same thing for the app in December. All right, so it doesn't take a lot of Spectacle. You don't really have to apply Spectacle at the higher end of the rate card to get a good result with it. And especially if you're doing split apps, 0.10 per thousand, again, Labor Day weekend and again in December, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna like the results you get with that. All right. Okay, next up is John Williams. He says Spectacle Flow is a must. The way I see it is I buy that bottle. I'm good for many seasons to come. I spend more on coffee. That's a good way of looking at it. And the question you have to ask yourself, John, really is what is your time worth, right? Because you have to look at it. If you don't use a quality pre-emergent, you are going to have Poa annua in your lawn in the late fall, definitely in the springtime. And that means you're going to be going after it with a post-emergent herbicide, Certainty, Negate, Image. You're going to be using some kind of post-emergent herbicide to try and take care of it. And there's a cost for that. And there's also a cost to your time. So if you can just prevent it, better to do that than have to go back after the fact and spend a lot of your time fighting it. So either way, you pay one way or another. You pay with your wallet or you pay with time. So I prefer to pay with money than my time. So which is why Spectacle is a staple in my fall lawn care program. And if your budget permits, I would absolutely I highly recommend it for warm season turf grass. All right, Brian Howell is up next. Thanks, Ron. I'm putting the zoysia near my back patio where the eaves overhang and create about a 2 to 3 foot shade zone near the foundation. It gets kind of muddy and I'm tired of it. Okay, yeah. I mean, that area, you're right. Bermuda's never going to do well there. And the zoysia, especially if it's in the back lawn where only you're going to see it, not that big a deal. If you're fine with it, that's going to be fine. You said I could also try hardscaping if the zoysia is going to look funny where it will meet the Bermuda. It's going to look different. So you got to be prepared for that. Like zoysia and Bermuda grass do not look similar. They don't look anything like each other in my opinion, because the growth rate's obviously different, but also the hue of the grass, like the shade of green for zoysia tends to be lighter and more like emerald in color, whereas Bermuda can be a deeper green. I mean, they're both like both greens can be dark, but the hue is different, so they don't match up. Like in other words, if you have Bermuda and zoysia touching, you're going to be able to see the difference between them. Like they are not going to match. They're not going to match at all. And if that's going to drive you crazy, then I wouldn't do it. Plus 2 to 3 feet, like what you're dealing with. I mean, you could put a little rock bed in there. A bunch of things you could do there other than put grass in. And it also saves you from not having to have to mow the grass right near the house. That's kind of a pain. You also got to go edge, you know what I mean? So there's also that consideration as well too. So either way, just, choose wisely is what I would tell you. But Bermuda and Zoysia do not look the same. Anyone that tells you that, I wholeheartedly disagree with. They do not look the same. They just don't. Mark Romano is up next. He says, "Oh, Mark's going on, man. It's been a minute." He says, "Hey, Ron, just saying hello. I moved to Thailand. Best wishes, dude. That's awesome. So I know you're in Hawaii for a long time. Wait, what time is it in Thailand? What time is it in Bangkok, Thailand? I gotta know now, dude. Because you're ahead of us, right? Thailand right now. 7:22 in the morning. So you are 11 hours ahead of us. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it's not too bad for you. Cool, man. Well, I'm sure you're going to have a great time there. Enjoy it. Enjoy life. If you get a lawn, keep me posted as far as how that works out for you. A lot of folks seem to like Thailand. It's a common place for expats to go and hang out, like low cost of living. So cool. Very, very cool. Thanks for coming to hang out in the live stream, even though you're on the other side of the world right now. All right, B.S. Smith says, "Hey, Ron, I sent you some pictures of my stripes. Even though I'm not a stripe guy, what do you think? Not the best, but at least they show up now." Yes. So you did send some, Brian. I was wondering if you're going to be in the live stream tonight. So you sent some pictures. So yes, Brian, we will take this. We will clap it up. We will applaud your efforts for putting some stripes in the lawn. I like that. So there's picture one. And then we got another one here. Yeah, we'll take that, man. And again, for a guy that's not a stripe guy, you don't really spend a lot of time on this. This is a good start. This is a good start. And pretty soon, you're going to really begin to embrace the stripe action. It's going to become part of your persona when it comes to like looking at the lawn, right? So I like it. I like that you're coming around, and just keep up with it. The more you do it, the better it's going to look. So thanks for sending the pictures. I know I gave you like a hard time last week. I mean, I was just kidding, but some folks kind of take this kind of seriously. But I'm glad you sent the pictures, and that you're just giving it a shot. I mean, you can always go back to no stripes if you want, but overall, pretty good start. Pretty good start. I like it. All right, John Williams. He says the pool's a pretty big monthly payment. Must be nice to be rich. I mean, it depends. If you like it. If you like a pool, you like a pool. I get it. I mean, I don't like judge what people want to spend money on. Your life. Enjoy it. Enjoy buying the things you enjoy. Like pools are not that big a deal for me. Mainly because of the reasons I said. Right. I don't like mowing around. Another thing to have to take care of. And also, I grew up in the Caribbean. Like literally, like the house that I grew up in. When I walked outside, like 15 minutes away, walking was the Atlantic Ocean. So like seeing the ocean all the time is like that's like beaches. Not a huge like. Yeah, I kind of grew up seeing it all the time. So having a pool, not just I get it that they're cool for entertaining, but not, I mean, just not something for me. For me, I just look at them from a standpoint of a lot of headache from a standpoint of keeping up my grass. Not so much the maintenance of the pool, which is another thing altogether, but just like it's going to make my grass maintenance that much more difficult. So that's a no. That's what it is for me. But if you like it, you like a pool, you like a pool, man. I get it. Okay, Robert Rady says, here's what I'm going with. A perennial ryegrass blend. He's going 34% Paradox. GLR perennial ryegrass, 33% Pangea perennial ryegrass, and then 33% Electra GLR perennial ryegrass. You know what's funny, dude? I've said this before on the live stream. The cool season turfgrass, like we get Tahoma 31, we get Xeon, we get Emerald. Like they get like cool season folks, man. Whoever names cool season grasses, they are far more creative than we are. Like Paradox, Pangea. Electra, it's kind of cool names. Now we don't get any. There's no like Electra Bermuda grass. I don't know. I guess cool season folks are a lot more creative when it comes to their naming. But cool. Thanks for sharing that, Robert. As far as your ryegrass blend, I know it worked out really well the last time you did it, and I'm sure it's going to work out well this time. I'm not sure if it's the same thing you used last time. Whatever you used last time worked really well. If this is the same thing, it's going to perform fantabulously, I'm sure. So keep us posted. All right, Henry Thieling is up next. He says, just getting here. How long has the chat been going? Hour and 30 minutes almost, hour and a half. Started at 7 p.m. So you're still here. You're good. We'll be here for a little bit longer. Charles Westmoreland is up next. He says, good evening, Ron. Greetings from Northern Virginia. I'm currently using plant growth regulator. I plan to reseed in the fall. When is the best time to discontinue PGR? For me, normally late September, October is my last plant growth regulator app. Keep in mind though, that PGR is not going to really negatively affect your germination rates with grass. So if you want to, and here's something else to consider, Charles, plant growth regulators often used as a tool as part of a seeding project. So say you have an existing lawn already, you're going to overseed it. So maybe you may have cut the lawn a little bit lower and you're trying to slow down the growth of the existing grass to give the new grass that you're putting in by a seed the best opportunity to establish. Folks will often use plant growth regulator like Primo as a tool for that purpose. It'll slow down the existing grass from growing because it has to have actively growing grass. It has to have foliage like leaf to be taken up. If you read the label for Primo, I'm pretty sure it's on the label. Syngenta even has a little section about that, about using Primo as part of a seeding project and that it's not going to affect grass that is not already growing. So you might do this. You might keep using your PGR program up until you put the grass seed out, and at which point you could then discontinue it. That would be a good plan as well too. All right. So hope that helps, sir. All right. And next up is Harper's Knitters. I'm going to use your products next season for the front where the cats don't go often. Hope you can come up with friendly products. It's a concern for everyone. Yeah, so here's the thing, Harper's. Most products that are, I'm going to say most, like the majority of products that are labeled as safe for use on residential lawns, if they are applied at the rates per the label and they are watered in or, activated per the recommendations, like, people and pets are typically not a concern. Now, can a person have allergies? Yes. Can pets have allergies? Absolutely. But it's a very uncommon that if you are putting out, say, pre-emergent at the correct rates, watering it in, allowing the lawn to dry before people and pets re-enter the lawn, that there's ever really a problem. Same thing for fertilizer, same thing for growth regulators, same thing for all those. Those products are used on literally millions of lawns all throughout the country. And but for the most part, if it's labeled for use on residential lawns, not saying that there can't ever be a bad interaction, but if it's labeled for use on a residential lawn and it's applied correctly per the label and activated correctly per the label. So what you tend to find is whenever any of the services go out and they spray a lawn or put out a product, they will say, water it in to activate it and keep people and pets off the lawn for 24 hours. If you do that, there's generally not an issue. So that's what I would tell you. Take that for what it's worth. You can decide on as far as what products you want to use, but for the most part, if it's labeled for use on residential turf grass, as long as you apply it properly, you're going to be okay. All right, James Smith is up next. Is Ron, H2O or drink mixture tonight? Back with mango-based mix on my end. You know what, James? I'll take your mango mix and I will raise you. It's not water tonight. This is it's from a juicer though. You'd be proud. It can taste ginger. There's ginger in this. I think there's peach. There is I don't know what else is there. I was the one that actually made it. I may have to ask the person that made it like what all is in here. But there's differently ginger because there's always ginger in everything. Let me ask what's in this drink. But it's I taste lemon and I taste ginger, watermelon. So let's see, watermelon, ginger, lemon. I'm getting else for you here, and it's juice too. Peach, because Georgia peaches. Let's see what else. Ginger, yeah. So watermelon, lemon, peach, ginger. So I'm not going to tip it too much. I don't want it to spill out, but you can kind of see there. That's what it looks like. I mean, it looks really healthy, right? It settles like when you pour this stuff out. It's sitting in a mason jar in the fridge. You got to take it and got to shake it to get it nicely suspended before you actually start drinking it. But yes, it's good. So I'll take your mango drink. That's probably not as nice as this. That's what I'm sipping on tonight. And it's quite tasty. Quite tasty. All right. Next up is James Smith. He's back again. He says, don't forget with top dressing product quality, you may find some vendors on the lower end of the price range. Material isn't screened very well. Great point. Very well. And you may end up introducing weeds in your lawn. So that's the thing. Yeah. I mean, top dressing is one of those things you really don't want to, you don't want to overpay for it, but at the same time, like you like picking someone, if you get like a bunch of quotes, I would not go with the cheapest person. I would pick whoever, like if you do the average, like the mean that they're coming out with, and if you can maybe go a little bit, like whoever's slightly above the average, and that you can interview and make sure they're using, quality materials, you understand their process, they've done it before, they have good reviews, then that's where I would go. Because it's such, if it's not done correctly, to James Smith's point, one, they can put lots of rocks and trash in your lawn. That's one thing, but also just they could bring a bunch of weeds in, and any money that you saved going with the cheaper option, you're going to more than spend trying to clean up all the weeds in the lawn after they're long gone. So I'd say spend a little bit more, buy once, cry once, and just enjoy the job that a quality service is going to do. All right. Terrence Sam says, "Hey Ron, evening. I sent an email last week, but I didn't get an answer. I have a 4-gallon Lowe's Cobalt sprayer. It doesn't have a spray tip. I had to screw it to get the desired flow or get another sprayer. Thanks." Oh, so sorry, Terrence. Sorry if I missed your email. So if you're saying the sprayer does not have end cap that can be removed, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what you can still calibrate it if the end cap is adjustable, meaning it's like I don't know, it's like if you can adjust it to where it can produce a finer droplet, and then you can go out and calibrate it at that setting. So meaning which you kind of like get it to where it's putting a fine droplet and and lock it in there. You could go that route, but honestly, man, I'd probably just get something where I can use like a proper, like, flood jet tip or a foliar spray tip if it were me. That's what I would do. But I mean, what you have can be made to work. It's just that you'd have to set it properly for the droplet size you're looking to achieve, and then calibrate it, and hopefully the adjustment on the end cap isn't really loose to where once you set it, it pretty much stays there unless you move it. That can work. But personally, I'd probably just get something that I can swap spray nozzles personally. That's what I would do. But if you already got it, you got it, man. I'd say make it work. Make it work if you can. All right, next up is Les Lightfoot says, "Do you have issues using spectacle flow around trees and ornamentals?" No. So I do have some ornamentals. I have some shrubs, and no, they don't. I haven't experienced any issues with spectacle flow around them. Not that I've ever come across. Les Lightfoot. Okay. Okay, Adam Starks is up next. He says, "Hey Ron and Lawn Crew, enjoying the show as always. Keep it up. Hit the like button." Thanks so much, Les. I appreciate that. And for those of you guys that are here, if you've not hit the like button, definitely please do that. It's a free way to support the channel. Sends good vibes to YouTube and gets more folks to come hang out with us. So if you can do that, would really, really appreciate it. Or whatever platform you happen to be on. If you're on Instagram or whatever platform, hit whatever the engagement button is on that platform. All right, next up is CB1V8. I think that's correct, or CB1VB. I'm not sure what that is. Sounds like a license plate. It says, "Hey Ron, happy Friday. I conducted a hard late summer scalp a couple of weeks ago with a reel mower. Now the lawn is scalped. Should I raise the mower up a notch or leave it at the scalp level?" I would raise it up a notch. I mean, it depends on how far you went down, but in most cases, folks will scalp the lawn below the height of cut where they intend to maintain it. So if you're planning on maintaining the lawn at, say, 3/4 of an inch, and you scalped it just below 1/2 inch, I would raise the height of cut up from above the scalp height. All right. That is what I would do, CB1VB. All right. Next up is Michael Thomason. He says, "Evening, Ron. Tahoma 31 is looking great. I hear you talk about soil temps. Is there a certain gauge that you use, and how do you measure several times during the season?" I do. So there is a gauge. You can find these relatively inexpensively on Amazonia. So there's looks like a meat thermometer to me, but it's labeled a digital soil thermometer, right? But it looks a lot like any kind of like a meat thermometer to me. So you get one of these. I guess I can find it on Amazon if you want, but that, or you could use the tool from Greencast. So if you Google average 5-day soil temperature in my zip code, more than likely what's going to load is the tool from Syngenta, from Greencast. That will tell you what it is. Also, if you use the My Soil test kits, right? So if you're in this ecosystems where you got one of these from us, when you log into the portal, because you also put your address and your zip code in, it will also tell you what the 5-day soil temperatures are in your area as well too. So if you're using the My Soil test kits, that's also like a value add that you get for using that test kit as well. Just more data. Soil thermometer. Let's see if I can find it. I'm not sure if mine is even still available anymore. Probably not, because I've had it for forever and a day. But there's a bunch of them. So I'll do this for you. I'll just send you this Michael Thomason, so you can look here. You can choose accordingly. I've not looked at the label, the reviews for any of these to be able to tell you. I would get a digital one though. They got like the little, I don't know. I would get an analog. I'd probably get like a digital one if it were me. But you can take a look here at these, Michael Thomason, and then soil temp gauges. I mean, you could probably use a meat thermometer. Just don't, just don't use the one that your wife or significant other is using. Is a good way to probably get in a bad fight. So don't do that. So get something that's dedicated for the dirt, for the lawn. All right. Okay. Next up is James Smith's hand cut with scissors before before using the robot. Okay. So we've been letting the poll run for a while. The question I was asking is, next season, should I use a robot mower on the back lawn and just alternate with using the greens mower? So I will still real mow the back lawn, but we'll let the robot mower cut the back lawn and we'll see how it does. And I thought, you guys might be open to that. So looking at the results, we'll end the poll now. And 64% of you said no, 35% said yes out of 37 votes. So definitely not like a ton of people voted, but there's definitely a bias towards no robot mower. So I guess we'll have to go no robot mower. Maybe I'll ask again later this year, or maybe early next year. Maybe you guys have a change of heart. But so far, the folks are saying no to the robot mower, which I'm not, not feeling too bad about, because that is another piece of equipment I got to keep up with and got to keep sharp and somewhere to store it and all that stuff. And then B.S. Smith says there's one robotic reel mower. You may want to check that out. Ooh. Robot reel mower, huh? Does it have like GPS or really smart cameras where it can actually produce stripes? Interesting. Sabrina Cruz says someone will invent a robotic greens mower one day. Yeah, they may exist already. They're probably just not going to be at a price point right now that makes a whole lot of sense for homeowners. But to your point, Sabrina, technology typically only gets better, not worse. So eventually it'll get to the point where a robotic greens mower will be able to mow straighter, more consistent stripes than I will. So I guess the only thing they have to figure out is like the bagging part. It'd be kind of cool if they figured out a way that it could bag and then empty itself out. So maybe you program a waypoint saying like, go here and dump clippings, and it so that aspect of it would be kind of cool. But we'll see. We'll have to see. It seems like that would definitely add to the complexity and cost of the unit. Toucan Sam says the robotic reel mower company shut down earlier this year, so people that got them essentially have expensive bricks. That's not good. See, it's not making me feel good. I don't want to have an expensive brick. That's no good. So thanks for that, Toucan Sam. That stinks. All right, Oliver Riddle says, happy Friday, Ron. What's going on, sir? He says, just out here enjoying the mow this evening with the 1026. You see, now, guys, this is what we call a subtle flex. So in the greens mower space, you'll often hear like the John Deere, the 260 SL. It's one mower. A very common mower is also the Greensmaster 1600. Among most of us with reel mowers, even the greens mowers, those are the ones that we talk about. When you hear my man talking about the 1026, he's talking about, the newer offerings, like the newer, whereas I got like the Ferrari F40, he's got like the not LaFerrari. That's old now. What's the new Ferrari now? I actually don't like the new one. Whatever the new Ferrari is, right? He's got the new hotness. And I have to admit, I do like the fact it's still Toro red, but the silver, the brushed aluminum does look fire. I gotta admit, man. I do like the look of that. Let me get the comment off the screen here really quickly. That does look fire. The aluminum roller, the brushed aluminum on the gearboxes, because on mine it's like the red painted metal on the gearbox on the side covers, and that two-tone silver and black, silver and red is it's pretty clean. I gotta admit, that's pretty fire, man. It is fire. I don't need one, but I want one. I do want one. What they cost these days. I have to reach out to the folks at Jerry Payton and see. They'd be like, yeah, man, we can definitely hook you up. You can have one just like Oliver has. It's everything you never knew you always needed in your life for the low price of whatever, some 5 figures. Okay, anyway, we'll see here. All right, Sheet is up next. He says, your zoysia might look better unstriped. What? No. What? Why would I? Hey, make that make sense, Sheet. You're saying that this would look better. I can't even find it. It got me all thinged up now. You're telling me that this would look better without stripes in it? Explain your logic. Like, why would I don't understand what's wrong with the stripes? I mean, I even did it in 2 directions, but I mean, stripes it's a nice look. Gives that manicure. You know why stripes are such a big deal? Because, and why I like them, other than this, the vanity aspect of it, is that it's a very, very conspicuous way of showing that the lawn is manicured. Because it's not common. It's not common to have like stripes in a lawn. The fact that you went through and you cut the lawn, you made you put straight lines in it, it just adds another level of this person really cares about this stand of turf grass. So I get it that, I mean, lawn could look nice, cut really low without stripes in it, but I would argue that stripes make it better. I gave them to you in 2 directions. I gave you diagonal and I gave you lengthwise. I don't think you can argue with that, man. I don't think the Xeon will look better without stripes. It would just be a really flat, low cut stand of grass. I mean, it would look nice. I'm not gonna hate on it, but I mean, I to say that it would look better without stripes. No, I disagree. I disagree. Okay, next up is B. S. Smith 333 says, should I continue to mow in the same direction to accentuate the stripes? Yes. So if you're trying to get your stripe action your stripes to really set in really well, while you do want to vary the mowing pattern in a certain direction, you want to run the mower, you want the stripes to be the same direction each time for that pattern. So for example, avert your eyes, Sheed, because the stripes are coming back on screen. So I'm going to show this on video really quickly, and then I'll pause it so you can see. So if you, hang on, let me get this off, start this over. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. All right, so get here and close that and then pause. One more time, 3rd time's a charm. Okay, good. Okay, so if you look closely, you'll notice that the upper left-hand corner, I mean, you can kind of see it, the upper left-hand corner of the lawn, the very first stripe is always going away from us. That's light. And then the next one is dark coming towards us. So whenever I start mowing the front lawn diagonally, that's how I start it. Let me see if this picture's even better. Yeah, this shows even better. So you can see in the corner there, the upper right-hand corner of the Dorito, like the first stripe, like that little triangle is mowed going away from us. So a light stripe, and then dark coming towards us, and then light and dark, and on and so forth. So we're done mowing the entire lawn. The same thing is true for the lengthwise stripe. If you look here, for the bottom, you'll see I start on the bottom and work my way up, and you see the bottom stripe along the curvy sidewalk is light. So I mow going away from us for the first stripe, and the next stripe coming back, which is darker, is like just below the shrub coming back this way. So to really get the stripes to pop, each time you mow the lawn, you'll change the direction that you're mowing it. If you can mow the stripes on the same lines each time, that's what's really going to set them in and make them look really good. So it takes some practice to do that. Ideally, what you want to find a point that you can index off of for the first stripe and then just build out from there. On the front lawn, it's pretty easy because the corner is like, you just mow the corner, right? And then from there, just keep going back and forth with the mower, and then it kind of builds out really nicely. If you're starting out on a big open lawn, then finding like a point in the back, like a clear starting point that doesn't really change, like off of a patio perhaps or something, and then a point of reference in the background that you can mow straight to, and then just build the stripes out along from that point. That's the way to get them consistent. So it does take some practice, but once you do that a few times, they'll begin to get more pronounced, and then you really don't have to worry about it. They'll look real nice. All right. So hope that helps, BSS Smith. All right. Next up is Michael Kuhn. He says, so we always hear how fall is the best time to do seeding projects, especially for cool season grasses. How do you feel about trying to grow Bermuda grass from seed right now? I'm in Oklahoma. Not a huge fan, Michael. Main reason is, Bermuda begins germinating, or most of the grass seed that you get for Bermuda that grows from seed, they want the soil temps to be in the mid 60s and going warmer. We're about to be in the low 70s and trending cooler, so we're going the wrong direction. So the germination rates are not going to be as good. Given that you're in Oklahoma, you guys likely get a reasonable winter. So you probably have some periods of this winter where you have snow on the ground. It gets colder there than it does here in Georgia. So for that reason, if you're going to establish a Bermuda lawn from seed, I would want it to have as much growing season as you possibly can, so that it's as hardy, as strong as possible before that cold weather really sets in. If you can get it to germinate now, I'd be afraid that you'd lose quite a bit of it over the winter, because you're talking about really late August, early September. Soil temps are not really where they need to be for you to get really good germination. The weather of the next few months is going in the wrong direction from a standpoint of temperature and sunlight. So can you do it? Yeah. Is it the ideal time? No. And I think given the cost of grass seed, both from a standpoint of the seed, the water, and your time, if you're going to grow a lawn from seed, I really would, for Bermuda anyway, I would really do it in the springtime. Now, if you said, hey, I want to sod a lawn this time of year, that you could likely get away with. But from seed, I really wouldn't do it in the early fall if you're dealing with a warm season grass like Bermuda, for the reasons that I explained. So hopefully that helps. Okay, obviously, you're free to do whatever you want to do, but hopefully my reasoning makes some sense to you as for why it's not the best idea. You're gonna spend a lot of money and end up not getting as good a result. All right, Nick Nicholson says, love the outlet when you use the verticutter. Yep, I mean that's what I've been using it primarily for this season, is verticutting, Nick. And then next up is Greg Rijad. He says, hey, Ron, was wondering if you heard any rumors regarding Real Rollers introducing a standalone verticutter. In SoCal, hybrid Bermuda, using a split seeder now, would like to upgrade. Thanks, Greg. Yeah, so I was actually chatting with Lee this past week about future projects. Cannot share any of that. All I can say is whatever he said in the past, I would assume that still holds until you hear differently. That's all. I'll just leave it at that. But he always has something in the works. That's one thing with Lee. The wheels are always turning. He's always thinking about something new that he's trying to dream up and to bring to market. So yeah, that's probably the best I can tell you. I mean, in the meantime, if you want to keep using the split seeder, if it's working well for you, that's a good option. The biggest benefit that a standalone verticutter is going to have is it's going to have a grass catcher on it. So whenever you go out and verticut, like all that debris will go into a bin versus being thrown on the lawn, which saves you so much time when it comes to cleanup. That's one of the biggest reasons to get like a standalone unit that's actually designed for it, in my opinion. So hope that helps, Greg. Sorry, I can't give you a better answer than that. Maybe we'll be able to get Lee on the live stream again here at some point. He may or may not answer questions about that, but yeah, that's all I can say. Whatever he said in the past, from what I understand, still holds. Okay. Next up is John Williams. He says, why have I seen videos on golf courses removing the dew off the grass? Disease prevention. Not that I am going to do it, but is there a reason for the madness? I get a lot of dew and I start thinking I should be removing it. Yeah, so particularly on the greens, they'll use a dew whip, is what it's called, John. They'll use a dew whip before mowing, and it's a strategy that can be used to help reduce the chances of disease issues on the greens. I only really see them being used on greens. Maybe they do them on tee boxes too, but it's mainly on greens that I see dew whips being used. And not all courses do it, but I was out at Stone. There's a course out at Stone Mountain. I was out there really early one morning. I was filming the video actually on the groom gauge from AccuGauge. And before they're out there mowing the greens, they rolled the mower up there, and the guy out there with his dew whip, and he was cleaning all the water off the green, and then all the moisture off the green, and then he went out and mowed it. So yeah, that's the reasoning behind that, John. And yeah, you don't need one for. I mean, I guess you can if you want to. You don't need one for your lawn. If you want like an easy way of doing that, just use a garden hose. Take like a garden hose and just drag it along the lawn. It'll do the same thing, but again, you don't really need to do that on your lawn unless you really got the time and really want to do it. I don't do it on my lawn, like, ever. So hope that helps. The only time I've ever, obviously I don't ever do it like for the reason that it's done. Like sometimes when I want to take pictures early in the morning and I don't want there to be dew on the lawn, so the lighting is really nice and I want to take a picture, I will do that trick. I'll take the hose and just drag it on the lawn and knock all the dew off of it. But it's mainly just so the lawn looks nice for a picture, not so much because I'm trying to like prevent disease and other problems and before I get to mow the lawn. So, For me, it's purely for aesthetics, not for the reasons that most people do it. Okay. All right, Carl Clarkson is up next. He says, after all the rain in North Carolina, I have Bahia popping up all over my centipede lawn. What should I use and at what rate? You can use Celsius. Celsius is labeled to control. Well, it's you can't use it on Bahia grass. It's safe for pretty much every warm season grass other than Bahia. As far as rate, I would just go with the medium rate on it. You really shouldn't have to go heavy-handed to knock out Bahia grass in your centipede lawn, Carl. So I don't know off the top of my head what the medium rate is, but on the label there's a section for like low, the medium, and the high. So just go medium is what I would tell you. And again, this is what you want to use. Like your centipede will tolerate it just fine. Bahia grass, not so much. Not so much. Bahia is kind of weird like that, right? It's that one like grass is classified as a warm season grass, but Celsius and it do not play nicely together. And if you don't have Celsius, you can pick some up there. All right, let's see here. Next up is Hoffenkamp. He says, I voted. He says, Tom says, you know what? I'm in the minority. I don't care. I voted yes, not because I'm pro robot mower, but if you get a robot mower, you can spend more time out front bedazzling the Zoysia. I will say the Zoysia has been getting a lot of love this year. I mean, I may be guilty of whispering sweet nothings to it. I cut the Zoysia right before the live stream, you know, so it does get a lot. It's like a new toy, it's a shiny new toy I get to play with. That's all it is, right? So yeah. Terrence Sims, I sent you pictures and videos in my email. If you wish, you can address it to me later. Thanks. You got it, Terrence. I'll after the live stream, I'll look up your email. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find it, and then I'll send you an email tonight after the show's over. All right, I will do that. You got it. Yes. The only thing though, I would say, Tom, while I look for the next comment, is just it's gonna mess up my stripes, man. The robot mower is not going to. I mean, I've seen some of the newer ones where they will actually mow lines, they'll mow stripes on lawn, but because the thing has got like a really narrow cutting width, it's like itty bitty baby stripes. Yeah, so the more I think about it, I don't know, man. It would I think it would drive me crazy. It'd last about a week or so, and then I'd be like, nope, forget this. It's gonna mess up my my nice pristine stripes that I like. All right, DJ Rockefeller is up next. He says, hey Ron, these weeds that look like clover but aren't are taking over my lawn. What can I do to get rid of or control it? Depends on what kind of weed is it, DJ Rockefeller. I mean, if it's a couple things. If it's a broadleaf weed, I mean, I have to know what the weed is to be able to really give you the best advice. But if it's a broadleaf weed, you could use like a three-way product. And again, assuming your grass isn't St. Augustine or centipede, you could use something like Triad. If you got warm season grass, you could use Celsius, because those are pretty good catch-all products that will knock out most broadleaf weeds. So I don't know what exactly what you're dealing with, but like if you got warm season grass, Celsius, great choice. And if you got cool season grass, like a three-way like Triad would work well. So it's hard to know exactly how to tell you what to do without knowing exactly what the weed is. But I'm guessing it's a broadleaf. If that's the case, one of those two options should do a pretty good job taking care of it. All right. Johnny's username says the Emotion Yucca can bag, I believe. Cool. So here's the thing I would wonder, Johnny's username. So if it can bag, I mean, it probably doesn't empty the bagger, right? So it probably goes in bags and it just kind of builds up. Like I highly doubt that it's going to be the bagger's big enough to bag clippings for like 9,000 square feet. Probably unlikely. So it probably fills up and it has a sensor, and you got to probably go empty the bagger out before it continues mowing, is what I'd imagine. So, and again, this is a really big unit. I don't know how you'd get a large bagger on it that's not going to like mess up the balance of the mower and have it cut weird. So the more I think about it, I'm not sure. You know, I don't know how well a robot mower with a bagger on it actually would work, unless it's a big unit. All right. BSS Smith says, do the stripes get better if I mow the same direction repeatedly? Yes, they do. Gary Kelly Jr. is up next. He says, Ron, I usually spot seed in the fall in the dead areas. I do have the flow zone. If I was to spray prodiamine, can I just cover the areas that are being spot seeded? Yeah, so I would, if you're going to do that, you would want to cover the areas and then some. So if you're going to, I don't have a good way of showing this. Let's say, good example, let's say the green area on the My Soil test kit is the bare area that you're planning on seeding. Then if I were going to cover it or shield an area from being sprayed with pre-emergent, I would make sure I have a good little barrier, kind of like the gray area here, have like a larger area around it that you're also not going to spray pre-emergent, just so that you don't have any like seepage, anything that gets into this area, because that way you'll minimize the chances of it, negatively impacting your grass seed from growing in. So, I mean, that's definitely an option. You could absolutely do that, Gary, if you want to try and get the best of both worlds. Okay, Jorge Garcia is up next. He says, I just moved into a new house located in Houston, Texas. Congrats. They laid Bermuda sod 10 months ago, but they laid it on top of construction clay. The Bermuda grass won't grow and is yellow. Any tips? Nothing that you really can do this season is what I would say, Jorge. So assuming that the lawn is not yellow because lack of nutrient, like you haven't been fertilizing it or anything like that, then what I would say is next year, if you can give it a good core aerate, do a nice top dress with a blend, in your case, definitely with some organic material, so sand and also some compost, some rich organic material, like that's going to help the soil quality and also going to help the grass to do better. But yeah, that'd be the thing. And again, in the meantime, I'd make sure you have a good nutrient program. Get a soil test done. Make sure the lawn is not like deficient, because even on clay soil, Bermuda grass can still grow and look pretty good. I mean, the majority of the soil in Georgia, a lot of the soil is clay, so, and there's a lot of lawns around here that have not been top dressed, and the Bermuda grass still looks pretty good. So I would do a soil test and make sure you're not seeing the discoloration from a nutrient deficiency more than anything else. And then the rest of the advice still stands as far as next season. If you can budget for a good core aeration and then top dressing afterwards, that's going to also do nothing but help drainage. It's going to help improve the lawn. So I would absolutely do that. It's only going to be benefits. Only going to be upside for doing that if you can plan that for next season. All right. So hope that helps. Congrats on the new lawn. And for a soil test, I will send you the one that I use and recommend. It'll be linked for you in the chat now. You get it done, and then about a week later, you should get your results in the mail, or via email, and then you'll have the data to know what you should be doing to your lawn this time of year. All right. John Williams says, do you have a rotary mower? What kind? I do not. I do not own a rotary mower. So hence I can say that the Zoysia has never seen a rotary mower. It's never been on it. It wouldn't even know what to do with itself. It'd be like, rotary. Oh my, like I'm not that kind of girl. I got a pristine cut. I have a scissors cut on me. You can't just hack at me with a machete. I have to have something, high quality cutting me. So no, I don't own a rotary mower. I don't have anywhere to even put a rotary mower if I had one. So no, don't own one. Don't own one. And yeah, I've been okay without it. So we'll just keep that moving. All right, Andre Taylor's up next. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Had callaloo seedlings growing in a storage container outdoor in fall. Armyworms got to it. Grass doing okay. Aceleprint SC for the win. Cool. Glad to hear that it's doing well. And then DJ Rockefeller, your grass is Bermuda. I would use Celsius if it were me, DJ Rockefeller. So what I just sent you, I don't know if I sent you the link for Celsius, but if not, I will send it to you now. That is what I would use. If you got a broadleaf weed in your lawn, like Celsius does, like over 150 of them. So it's a good chance that it will help you out as far as being able to take care of a broadleaf weed in your warm season Bermuda lawn. All right. And then Johnny's username says, I think you can select a dumping area. Cool. So it has a grass catcher and you can say, go dump here. That's kind of cool. Huh. That is cool. That is cool. And then here we go. I don't know why I put that poll up. John Williams says, we real grass people don't do the robot mower stuff. LOL. Little R2 can't go to. Why is it got to be R2? Why is it got to be R2D2, man? You got listen. Robot mowers are still mowers. They still deserve respect. Now, do they deserve as much respect as a greens mower? Probably not, but you still want to show some respect. They're doing their level best. A robot mower didn't ask to be, born a robot mower. It just wants to get out there and try and make a little difference in the world, cutting this little part of turf grass. I mean, while we may not be huge fans of it, they are still tools for creating nice looking lawns. So we got to put a little bit of respect on their name, a little bit. We can't hate and just treat them like outcasts. You still gotta show them a little bit of love in time. All right, little R2 can take a hike. I remember watching a video of a robot delivery and people kicking it, robbing it, or stealing it. That's not nice. See, that's lawn equipment abuse. That's not nice. It's not nice. Jorge says, I feel your pain. Stick with it and don't give up. You're on the right channel. We love our grass. Let's see here. Jorge says, I did fertilize it once with a 28-3-10 slow release, and I did apply potassium and phosphate. I did a soil test and it told me to buy the 28-3-10 slow release with potassium phosphate. So I guess how long ago did you feed it? Would be the question, Jorge. And again, if you did if this was in the spring, if it were me, I would do a test this fall and just see, measure the effectiveness of the nutrient program. That's one of the benefits of doing a fall soil test, is saying, hey, I did all this stuff throughout the year. What are the nutrient levels in the soil as things begin to slow down? Yellow, discoloration, or the grass not looking vibrant, I mean, oftentimes is a sign. I mean, it could be lack of water, could be a host of things, but often is a sign of nutrient deficiency. So the only way to truly know that is with a soil test. So I would get one done and just see what it says. All right. And he says, but thank you for the tips. I will definitely do that next season. You are very, very welcome. He said you did it 3 months ago. Well, it's been 3 months since you last fertilized. Bermuda? Man, that's yeah. It's probably a nutrient deficiency, man. I mean, there are slow release fertilizers that are marketed to last for months and months on end, for 3 months. But unless you're using one of those, and even then, I don't know how much feeding you're really getting towards the end of that. I'd say you're probably due for another application of fertilizer. If you're going to stick with that one, the 28-3-10, that's fine. But if you want to, before you did it, if you want to, go ahead and pull cores, send in a sample to see where your nutrient levels are, and then apply the fertilizer afterwards, just to see. But based on the fact that you only fed the lawn 3 months ago, and it's a Bermuda lawn, because 3 months ago we're August, July, so the end of May is when you last fertilized it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that you're having some discoloration. All right, I'm going to say more food is what the lawn is asking for. All right, well, guys, gals, we have reached the end of the questions. So on that note, I will cue the outro music. Hopefully you guys got some fun, some enjoyment out of the show. It was entertaining, educational. That's what we hope for, to lighthearted approach to lawn care and to help you get your questions answered and get you whatever problem you're dealing with all squared away. As always, at the Golf Course Lawn Store, we love the opportunity to earn your trust and support in your lawn care journey. We have a great assortment of fertilizers, biostimulants, weed killers, pre-emergent, which is really important this year, to keep your lawn weed-free and to make your lawn the one that neighbors are absolutely going to envy. As always, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys watching the content. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 p.m. Eastern. If I don't get on before then, we might do Sunday. We'll have to see. But if not, I will talk to you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.